And just because the people listening may want to know a little bit about the science of this stuff, when you look at the research on something called attention, which in interpersonal neurobiology we define as that process which directs the flow of energy and information. So it has directionality to it, right? Attention does not have to be an awareness. So attention, which is streaming energy and information through your information processing system, basically, which can include your brain, include your body, and it can even include relationships, because the mind is not just inside your head. So philosophers would, or even cognitive scientists would say, cognition is extended and it's embedded. It's not just embodied and enacted. So these are called the 4 E's of cognition. The point here is that attention can be with awareness. So you say, oh, I'm really worried about the pandemic, so I'm distracted. Okay, we got that. But that's focal attention and awareness. Non-focal attention, which is actually where the majority of attention is, that is what's pulling your energy and information flow resources, is usually non-focal, which means attention that's not involving awareness. So what Tina is saying is so powerful, because just to put the science foundation beneath it, that you can say, oh, in my awareness, I'm just thinking how happy I am and how everything is fine and it's all going on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying not to listen to the news. And I know people are suffering and losing their lives and livelihoods, but I can't think about that so much. I'm going to just distract myself. And then, and this is true for me, I can't get things done. I'm exhausted. I try to do some intellectual things I'm trying to do, and I'm completely depleted of the energy to do that. And I go, what's going on? Well, it's because of exactly what Tina is pointing out, is that my neuroception, Steve Porges' term for our checker that's always checking for danger, is pulling non-focal attention to the environment. That is, I've got to be wary for things that could kill me or my loved ones. And that little virus is invisible, right? So it's every horror story writer's dream to have this invisible thing that will get in you and make it so you can't breathe. And so your non-focal attention is being drained with issues of life and death. Even if your conscious mind is saying, hey, I'm fine, everything's okay, what's the problem? Because this is what a pandemic is doing to us. I don't know if anyone else experienced that, but I certainly find myself really good at cleaning the house and seeing dirty things and cleaning them up, because that's like focal attention on something I can master and have a sense of potency about, rather than the feeling of helplessness that you can feel in the face of the pandemic.
I think what you just said there is so powerful, Dan. And I think one of the things that I've been so aware of in terms of my focal attention is that, and I know you're having this experience as well, is that as people that are often looked to as people who help promote mental health and know about child development, we're getting so many requests for, how do we fix this? How do we mitigate the damage? And the truth is that a lot of the time I have ideas about certain things, but a lot of the time I just say, how the hell am I supposed to know what the answer is? I don't know. And so there's this weight of helplessness, of feeling like I am called to help, but feeling like I don't know how to do that in effective ways, while also feeling overwhelmed by too much information that's coming out there. And so when I become aware of that from my IPNB core and my lens, then I go, okay, what I want to do now is curiously attend to my own neuroception and to start actually rediscovering myself. We have to rediscover ourselves in an experimental, curious way to tend to our own neuroception. I'll give a couple examples. Typically, when I'm traveling and I'm working and the work is never done and I'm a really present mom most of the time, when I go and walk the dog, I typically don't listen to anything, because my world is so overstimulating, and just being without any stimulation is really regulating for me. What I've noticed since this has happened is that when I'm out walking, I'm actually have been listening to Bruce Perry's book, The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog, which, is obviously all about trauma, and it's a heavy book. But when I'm walking and I'm listening to it, I am delighted. It feels so good to me to be listening to something interesting, or I'm just by myself. So it's like I'm having to learn new things that delight me and create a sense of stillness within me, and then other things that are dysregulating. One of the other things I know about myself is that I feel safe when I have information. So I'm a person who, the more information I have, the safer and more predictable things feel to me. But I've also noticed that swimming in the media and watching a lot of news makes me feel my neuroception for danger gets activated. So then I go, okay, let me try an experiment. Let me curiously tend to that. I'm noticing I don't feel safe when I'm watching this. I don't feel good in my body. So I'm going to set the recorder to record 30 minutes of world news, and I'm going to watch that at the end of the day. So I get some information, but I'm not swimming in it. So it's really about curiously attending and exploring and relearning ourselves in a new place.